What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 9 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Tzarina Katarin Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Tzarina Katarin, in a fairly difficult ambush quest battle, acquired the Crystal Cloak, the second and final of her legendary items. It's got some very solid defensive stats, gifting her armor, ward save, melee defense, as well as an additional 20% ward save for 30 seconds after casting. Very, very solid, considering that we've been tending towards sending Tzarina Katarin into the thick of the fighting, and I do imagine that that is going to persist. This time around, we'll be moving northward towards the lair of the Troll King, with Katarin's army trying to intercept Zazel down here, and seeing what we can do about all this. Unfortunately, Grimgork has redeclared war upon us, unsurprisingly, mind you, but not in an ideal time, as we have nobody in the Darklands buffer zone, and Clan Ferric has done the same. So we will have to deal with them, and we will certainly do so by getting another lord built up here to defend Uzkalak and the surrounding territories. Fortunately, when times seem darkest for Kislev, the motherland calls to its protector, YAROGNI Zinoviev, Axe of Ursun. They say that YAROGNI is a warrior's warrior who spurns the rarefied company of the Ice Court. For what true son of Kislev could sit at banquet when the enemies of the motherland still draw breath? They say his battle fury is as wild and feral as any warbear's, but behind his eyes lies the frozen heart of winter itself. They say that when YAROGNI's axe strikes but a single blow, it leaves multiple rents in the savaged bodies of his enemies, as if they were mauled instead by a colossal beast. And the rats that have risen up to threaten the motherland will experience this firsthand, for to YAROGNI, the Skaven creatures are little different than their smaller cousins, merely vermin to be crushed underfoot. For it was he who slew 10,000 of their number. When Kossars fled the chittering tide, it was YAROGNI who stood alone until the great rat horde broke like a wave upon a mighty cliff. And it was he who traveled the breadth of the world, slaying all manner of monstrosity before they could one day turn their malice upon Kislev. For any that dare to threaten the motherland are destined to be felled by the axe of Ursun. Anyway, for those unaware, YAROGNI Zinoviev is one of the older community canon lords on the channel, who made his legend 100 times over in the Boris Ursus campaign. I kind of like to think of YAROGNI almost like Mad Max, in the sense that he's reached such a legendary status that he's more like a campfire story, that the people tell tales of, whose deeds are larger than life. Anyway, that's my take on him. I love this lord to death, and I can't wait to get him a proper stack. Haven't quite decided what exactly he's gonna have, but for now he'll just get some basic troops to defend, as this is an emergency for our Darklands territories. Now, that took up a little bit of our cash at this point. Lords have increased their costs quite a bit, each one costing 1,800 gold, which is unfortunate considering there are a few other lord types that will probably want to get on the field here and there, like this Countryside Guardian, for example, as we will need somebody to lead our Akshina Ambusher army. Well, we'll see how much money we have, and in fact, there is a way we could get more money. We could get the Gotrek and Felix quest completed, and this might be a decent time to get it completed as well. Plus, we could probably put them in YAROGNI's army and have them sort of do a little bit of a kill contest. Also, I was originally thinking we would do the Kreml officer trait that would give Ursunite acolytes buffs, but on the other hand, I feel like Protector of the Motherland is really appropriate for YAROGNI, and it gives him a massive 25% weapon strength increase as well, so we can see how far we can push a Boyar in terms of increasing their weapon strength with various items and such. Anyway, if we're going to do the Gotrek and Felix battle, we might as well do it right now. So, what do we have against us? Oh, right, you can't see, but I remember the quest well, and it is an escort quest, where we essentially have to protect Gotrek and Felix, lest they die, while I guess while Gotrek attempts to kill himself off. And, ooh, I also want to see, so we have casualty punishment 1 turn. I don't remember if this stacks. I really hope it does, because it will be a horrible waste if it doesn't, but I guess we're about to find out. And away we go. Pyrrhic victory, medium casualties. We don't really see what's in here, but there are Seekers spawn and Demonettes and stuff to start the battle off. Oh, before we start the battle, yes, we've reached the engagement threshold, and yes, this will be an hour-long episode, and the engagement threshold does persist, though if we reach the 400 likes and 60 comments mark today, we will do 2 episodes today, as we did on Wednesday as well, so do keep that in mind if you like that sort of thing. Away we go.
As the day of mystery thins the veil between worlds, Slaanesh enacts his vengeance, dragging enemies from across the mortal world into his dark realm. Among the captured, the rogues Gotrek and Felix fight, battling to escape the Prince of Pleasure's domain. Only destroying his arcane portals would weaken the Dark Prince's grip, yet those protecting them will demand a toll in blood. No matter the price, Gotrek and Felix cannot fall, for their survival will deal Slaanesh a deadly blow and prove vital in the adventures to come.
Alright, away we go. Thankfully the Frostworm is quite fast, and Gotrek and Felix won't be able to get into combat without us moving in to help. And pretty much our entire line of single entities, our Lord and Heroes, can join Gotrek and Felix, which will be quite nice, especially with regards to the Patriarch, who can keep them healed. Alright, there we go. The enemy Exalted Keeper of Secrets brings in a bunch of Demonettes together with some Chaos Spawn of Slaanesh as we head on in and debuff everybody around. They're gonna blob up a little bit while we slowly move our infantry. And of course, the Zargard can stay back and guard the Ice Guard, who can start firing their ice arrows into the blob. And I can't really spot Gotrek and Felix in there. Their models are quite small compared to what's going on here, but that's alright. We can simply clear the way with another Blizzard. I do think that the Blizzard is a pretty appropriate spell for Tzarina casting, or Tzarina to be casting on top of herself, essentially. As once again, it just looks like the Frostworm and Tzarina Katarin are fighting within the Blizzard. Or the Blizzard comes up wherever she goes, which is the way it should be. Anyway, most of the basic Demonettes are cleared, and the Keeper of Secrets is down to about half HP, while Gotrek and Felix remain more or less fine. We did also activate, while in here, the Battle Hymn of Tor to reduce the enemy attack. And there we go. Ooh, nice volley from the Ice Guard into that Keeper of Secrets, and that's magical damage dealing arrows as well on the Ice Guard. I believe another volley should bring Big Boy down. Alrighty, all the way back on the left flank, we have the goal to defeat the enemy Aluruses, which are 1 per Chaos Gate. The Golden Knight has found the first Allurus, while our units of heavy war sleds are annoying the enemy Witch Elves that are coming out of the gate. Why are Witch Elves here? I have no idea. I feel like somebody didn't think this mission through. Somebody really didn't think this mission through. If anything, I feel like Witch Elves would be closer. Well, I don't know, they're somewhere between Khorne and Slaanesh. I mean, they're Khaine adherents, so they shouldn't be here anyway. They're worshippers of Khaine, so yeah. But anyway, not a big deal. Looks like the first Allurus has fallen, and our heavy warsleds have distracted the Witch Elves long enough. The Witch Elves did force them into the rampage, of course, but I don't know. Are you sure you want to sort of goad a war bear into a rampage? It doesn't seem like the best of ideas. But anyway, they can keep it up. In the meantime, the war sleds are heading down that hill through the Chaos Warriors, Marauders, and Demonettes alike, and even the Chaos Warriors go flying while we head towards the next Demonette. Tzarina's Fang and Jagade Khan, our two Snow Leopards, will keep the Golden Knight company as we assassinate these Aluruses. Just gotta be careful about taking too much damage on the relatively fragile Snow Leopards, but that's why the Golden Knight is here. And missed. Alright, chase him down. There we go. Damn, Alurus, you're fast. Alright, hopefully we can get her to engage in combat, but the rest of the battle seems like it should very much go our way. More Witch Elves are making their way onto the battlefield for some reason. Maybe they just heard about a battle going on somewhere and they were like, ooh, battle, let's join in. But then why is Khorne not here? You'd think if Slaanesh could keep out Khorne, he could certainly keep out Kain. Alright, a little bit of Witch Elves versus Zargard action. Unfortunately, as we saw, for example, in the Elspeth campaign, where Witch Elves faced off against Great Swords, they just don't have enough armor piercing to deal with a line of Zargard or other heavy infantry, especially until they, unless rather they attack them in the flanks or in the back. Certainly not in the front. Chaos Warriors surrounding Felix back here, but he should be fine with the arrows of the Ice Guard dropping all around, and it looks like those Chaos Warriors will book it on out. A set of Chaos Spawn destroyed on the front line as well, and the balance of power has shifted to about 95% in our favor. One Alurus remains, and most of the map has been cleared of enemies. Our war sled's still running amok among the enemy infantry. The heavy war sleds do feel a little slow. I'm wondering whether... I gotta double check what the mass is. Compare the mass of the heavy war sleds versus the light war sleds, as they are very similar in terms of their stats. Almost all their stats are identical. The only difference is the speed and armor, and the light war sleds have 75 speed but 50 armor, whereas these guys have a base of, I think, 110 armor and 60 speed. And the other difference is these guys have bolstered armor, whereas the light war sleds have bolstered attack. Though granted, bolstered armor is very much superior. However, the additional speed is nice as well, and you gotta remember that there are a bunch of upgrades for war sleds that confer a bunch of armor to them, so I think we can get the light war sleds up to about 100 armor anyway. So they'd have similar armor types or similar armor levels to the heavy war sleds. At least base heavy war sleds, but they'd also have the additional speed, which would allow them to reposition all the faster. It's certainly something to consider. Anyway, some Fiends of Slaanesh come out, but Tzarina Katarin blocks them off with her Froststorm, and it looks like they'll start melting away pretty darn quickly here. Especially with them being slowed down by the ice sheet and the frostbite of those ice arrows. Like a hailstorm dropping from above wherever the Tzarina goes, similar to her blizzard. Anyway, as we see, Gotrek and Felix are still completely fine. Gotta give it up to the Patriarch for that Saliak's Lullaby. The Golden Knight has in the meantime found the third and last Alurus, and as long as these Demonettes don't distract her, should be able to win the battle for us. And it's not like the Alurus can run anymore because we've activated the Golden Knight's ability, which freezes the enemy. And we gave the Golden Knight the Frostblades as well. 830 weapon strength and 75 melee attack, I wonder how she'd fare against Theodore Bruckner when both are fully upgraded. Well, especially in SFO. Could be an interesting contest. I'll just get a lot of the legendary heroes into a big old melee there. Throw Harry the Hammer in as well. Alright, and it looks like the Alurus has nearly done. One more hit, I think, and she will melt away. There we go. The Golden Knight wins the day, having taken relatively little damage considering she wasn't with the rest of our single entities and thus didn't get heals from the Patriarch. Warbear riding Ice Switch, and this is why I'm considering giving the Ice Switch the battle buffs rather than the spell buffs, because she does tend to fight with her queen. And at least the Frostworm is still for a few seconds, allowing Tzarina Katarin to not be nauseous for a minute. Anyway, there we go. Close victory apparently in the Battle is ours. I wouldn't imagine it was actually a close victory, because that went really, really surprisingly well. Alrighty, there we go. Yeah, that certainly felt a lot easier with Tzarina Katarin's army, or I guess with Kislev's army in general, than it did when I did the same quest with Elspeth, which felt a lot tougher. I think the issue there was, well, the reason that this was easier was because we have the Patriarch who offers that Salyak's Lullaby. We were effectively able to keep Gotrek and Felix at full HP regardless of what happened to them, so they took no damage, or at least they did take damage and it was simply healed right back up. Tzarina Katarin's spell work once again being very, very nasty. 537 kills and 123k damage, and, well, nobody did as well comparably or anywhere close as well, but that's hardly surprising. And then we got plenty of work on those heavy war sleds for once outdoing the winged hussars, but the hussars didn't have as much chance to work in this particular battle, as sending them to fight against seekers or to fight against the fiends of Slaanesh would have probably been a bad idea, and they would have lost too many of their number attempting it. Anyway, we got 3.6k from this, we got another 2.5k from Pardoned Captives, and we'll get another 3k. Hey, a student ranked up on the same turn as researching and technology. Okay, but then why haven't we gotten a single one of those 50 turns in? Why do we only get one now? What the heck? Huh, weird. Weird, but oh well. And yeah, and then we get more money from completing the Gotrek and Felix quest as well. I'm curious. Yes, indeed, it does stack. Okay, good. And good. I am very happy about that, as wasting a turn of plus 25 control would have been, well, not so good. Can these guys move immediately? Indeed, they can. All right, well, away you go. We're going to put you in YAROGNI's army, get him a couple of Patriarchs, and then they can all and be healed up. Also, does anybody know what happened to the Ulrika quest? We completed the walls, that was part of the quest, and then the next part of the quest just never came up, which was odd, and I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Maybe I misclicked something and missed it? I don't remember seeing the option, like, to recruit or not recruit, but I might have clicked somewhere I shouldn't have. Who knows? Anyway, ow! Katarin, you're at rank 22. Oh, it's at rank 23 that you get the sled. Damn, 5 ranks after the Frostworm. This better be a damn good sled for that to be worth our while. Anyway, for now, we're gonna get you magical reserves for more mana. Heart of Winter. I mean, we already have Blizzard and Hawks of Miska from the Tempest lore, so frankly, you're already a heck of a caster. But there will certainly be situations where we can use Heart of Winter. Golden Knight. You have Tzarina's Guardian. I believe we'll want to get into Kislev Unite next. Or wait, no, Stand Your Ground first and then, yeah. I mean, because we're already nearly there. Well, 2 points away. Ceremonial Adornments, I guess, learn from the best isn't super useful, and we do have some Zargard in this army, so yeah, why not? And then the rest of you, your levels probably don't matter nearly as much, but Retinue Valet will give us more magic items, and you're level 20, meaning we can choose between Eagle Eye, which gives us additional scouting buffs, another 15%, and ambush defense chance. Magistrate gives us boost income and construction. Oh, it's actually quite nice. Man, if we can recruit Ice Frost Maidens at level 20, it would be swell. Scholar gives us research and steel tech. Champion of the Ice Guard just makes you a stronger combatant, though you'll still have the problem of having relatively low melee defense and a massive 30% cooldown for spells. Now, if you were Frost lore or Ice lore, I would definitely take this just to essentially keep those ice sheets up at all times. Probably doesn't matter nearly as much in the Tempest lore, though. I'm 90% sure we're going to go with Eagle Eye, but I think we can maybe wait a little bit. I'm also kind of tempted by Champion of the Ice Guard. Make a sort of fighty Frost Maiden. The thing that makes me consider Eagle Eye more as well is because of the magic item drop chance is decent generally, but Tzarina Katarin will always be fighting the most battles, more than any other army, so she's the most likely to get item drops. I'll think about it. For now, we have magical reserves and we have these spells that we cast most of the time. Let's start moving you through... Let's say Onslaught to power up the entire army and to get into Potent, and I'll think about Eagle Eye. If anybody has any opinion on the magic item drop chance versus fightiness. I mean, at 30% weapon strength on 320 still isn't all that much. He still wouldn't be hitting as hard as a melee-focused hero, and would still lack the melee defense. But we do have a tendency to have these guys act on their own, so being more fighty is good there as well. Certainly something to think about. Anyway, we got plenty of money, but I believe we're saving it for next turn. The Ataman is moving to reduce the construction cost here, and I don't think there's any other Ataman things to do. We do want to upgrade the fort at Fort Dorjny Vort ASAP, and thus we'll need to move this guy there. Here's the question. Do we build... I mean, I wanted to build 4 light war sleds to replace these guys in this particular army. But the... Okay, fine. If we build the 4th one right now, it'll mean Mother Ostankia is stuck for another turn, but I'm just going to assume that that's going to be okay. This will allow us to move the Ataman immediately, rather than waiting to build something. He has upkeep reduction. Ooh, armies in province when Ataman. Oh, so if we move him right now, it'll actually cost us... whatever the 5% is. But it's the recruitment cost we were looking at more than anything else. I really wish we had 4 instead of 3 here. Another turn for Mother... You know what? Maybe we can move her a little bit closer to where she's traveling next turn, so we'll move him next turn then. And it also means we'll... I guess we'll just hope that Grimgor doesn't attack Fort Dorjny Fort before then. As if he does, there's no way that it'll hold. But for now, I believe that's it for this turn. So unassigned skill points, building upgrades available, outpost available, diplomacy we checked last episode, so that sounds like an end turn to me. Well, let's hope that Ulrica's quest pops back up. Epidemius, he will declare war on us. Hardly surprising, but the question is, where will you go? Didn't you have another army down here somewhere? Man, all these war declarations. Archie, are you gonna be next, man? Call your allies to help. I was kind of curious as to what Epidemius' trait was, so it doesn't bother me that much. I wonder if he's close enough for us to reach right now. I doubt it, but who knows? I'm willing to bet that since the AI really likes doing that, he's just out of range. And okay, that's just Bok the lethal attacking, that's fine. That's why we didn't invest a single point into Fort Dwarslav. Alright, Argulad and Vidrioth Confederated, settlement sacked, Piotr, okay, that's a boyar, he's up and running. We're gonna have to move Viktor Zamvin down there. So, Zamvin, go for Stigaisling, who's going to run. And... I mean, I guess we can hunt him down, he's fairly close. And go for it, why not?
Cut them down!
He had to die at some point. And... we will... Wand of Jet. Stigaisling, we will move into March stance. The rats will not be able to reach us from where they are, and this draws us close to Kirik Valag. I see... Oh yeah, there is another army out there. We could attempt to go for these places. Tzarina Katarin, can you reach Epidemius? Yes, indeed you can, so I guess we will be finding out what his defeat trait is. It does mean we won't be able to head to the lair of the Troll King immediately, but it does mean a free army to defeat. Vladimir, unable to reach Azazel. Okay, so he did the thing that I was talking about, but that's okay. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pop you into ambush right here at 70%, and we're gonna put Mother Ostankia right there. Then we're going to get you the wolf carts temporarily, but get them nonetheless. And then we'll build the 4th war sled. So, oh, I guess we should transfer the war sleds first. Yeah, fine, transfer the war sleds. Like so, and like so. And we'll transfer the last one next turn. And like so, there we go. And then we'll put these guys into the Akshina ambusher army. Just gotta make sure that we get this guy before it's up, and then we might send it down here or somewhere. We're okay over here, at least until Drika or Vlad declares war on us, but we'll see about that. Anyway, keep on moving. Michaela, you are going to keep on attempting to steal tech from Arnheim, and succeeding at doing so. I can't name her Beledna the Failure because she just keeps succeeding. Assassinate, I guess. It honestly really doesn't matter. You have the better... Yeah, you have ownership as theft. Ooh. You're still too far from the bonus to Scholar, but that's okay, we'll get there. Ataman, you have a thing. Province first, control +2 versus Traditionalist, recruit rank for infantry and melee defense. Currently, you have the recruitment cost reduction, and because of that, we can combine that with Traditionalist, so that makes sense. Ever be the Traditionalist. And then, what we want to do, since we moved the Ottoman here, is we want to upgrade Volksgrad. Are you in... which territory are you in? You're in Karak Vlag right now, meaning we no longer need Purge the Steppes here, though I guess the additional control isn't a bad thing. Awaken the land will reduce the construction cost, but we're not building anything... alright. Do it like this, then upgrade Nevkazi. And plus and such, we will build markets everywhere, minus this place. Actually, it won't give us any money. You know what, we'll build the woods second. Let's go markets first. Gotta have this place generating cash for us ASAP. Alrighty, and I guess, you know what, let's switch to Awaken the Land briefly. We don't have any armies moving through here. Then, after... do we move immediately to Fort Dwarslav? We do want to upgrade Karak Vlag and stuff. We also want defenses here, but we probably wouldn't be able to do it in time. Well, then again, we might. Fine, I build the breastworks here. Don't bother with the tier 2 upgrade as yet, though. I think. We'll probably move our lord into this place and reduce the construction cost, but we will do so... Yeah, we can probably do so right now. Alright, Atamans, you. No. You, assuming that there is no other construction cost, we're gonna send you to Zorna's school to reduce the construction time of the defenses there. Alright, then we will move you to Goromadny Mountains, wherein you will reduce the construction cost of the stuff there, and then I guess you'll go back to Eastern Oblast in a turn or so. Like so. Man, there's a lot of moving these guys around, but once again, feels appropriate. Alright, you guys keep on moving. Anybody else need to do anything other than Gotrek and Felix? Tzarina Katarin, you're about to move. Our ambush is set up, though just in case Azazel actually falls for it, we will probably wish to... Growth, extra padding, bunkers, melee when defense... This is ambush defense, and melee defense when defending. We're so rarely defending. I'm just gonna go medical core first for the additional growth.
No other may wield it.
Yeah. The army's certainly gotten stronger. Also, you are rank 10 now, so let's max out replenish troops and get Sons of Kislev as well. This would rank 20. I think that's what I did on you, right? Sons of Kislev and... Oh, I didn't max out replenish troops. I got another point in towards battle him instead. Nah, well, whatever. Not a big enough difference for us to be concerned with. Now, any place where we want to build stuff, this will get reduced... once the Ataman arrives, and I don't think we want to invest anything in here, though I suppose we could build the church because YAROGNI will need a patriarch, so that's fine. We can also upgrade the merchant traders. Well, I guess we can upgrade them next turn, and it'll take one turn rather than two, and then the same thing with the curtain wall there. We are good in this territory, though we will need to upgrade the Desolation of Drakenmore. Southern Oblast... mostly military structures, but we can leave you as you are. Kislev, you're approaching tier 5, which is great. Kazir Kolaz, there's no purpose into getting a tier 2, or tier 3 rather, church. And Karak Vlag, you're kind of at the edge of the territory, so we're not investing in you as yet. Tzarina Katarin, go for Epidemius.
Strike them down.
He can't run because he's foolishly in full speed stance. And close victory, you say. He has Fecundity and Curse of the Slug, as well as his Purveyor of Mortality item. Tons and tons of Plague Bearers and Nurglings, but those should all be pretty darn susceptible to Tzarina's magics. Go.
Kislev has faced worse than this rabble. The motherland endures!
Alrighty, here we go. It's almost like Sigvald running. I just get very amused seeing Tzarina Katarin up on that frostworm when it's moving around. But anyway, here we go. Sending the single entities in to annoy the enemy main line, essentially, including Epidemius, who randomly declares war on us. Because, yeah, everybody pile on in and attempt to fight Kislev, while the heavy war sleds go through the enemy exalted plague bearers as they have their range attacks, and we don't want these guys actually attacking. Annoy them as best you can, heavy war sleds, so by the looks of it, that charge didn't do all that much damage. Hopefully the plague bearers have a tough time dealing with the mass of those sleds. In the meantime, Tzarina Katarin has found Epidemius, but it will be distracting his plague bearers, while the Golden Knight is the one to hopefully bring the enemy lord down. Let's see. Well, we've got plenty of HP on him, but frozen, and we've got that Totem of Ursus that allows us to silence the enemy. Here come the war sleds returning. We drop a Hawks of Miska on the enemy. Why a Hawks of Miska? I don't know, just for fun. And because it allowed the war sleds to move forward without getting damaged by him, as the blizzard would have damaged our own units, whereas the Hawks do not. Even if the blizzard does way more damage. Ooh, and it looks like the enemy exalted plague bearers do start chucking their whatever it is, and are going to start dishing out damage to us. I believe their special ammunition does quite a bit of damage, though fortunately the armor piercing on them is fairly low. So hopefully it won't be anything crazy to the war sleds. In the meantime, that's not the only battle like we've done before. This army has a tendency to divide and conquer, split the enemy army in 2 or in 3, and attack them in different locations for a bunch of little skirmishes. And what we're going to do here is we're going to summon both of our snow leopards on top of the exalted plague bearers, and the summoned snow leopards can distract them and prevent them from firing their ranged attacks. Epidemius is down by about 30% of his HP, and more Nurglings and plague bearers and plague toads are moving in to fight our main line. A little bit of action for the Zargard, Ice Guard, and Kislevite warriors, though the Zargard have cleared the Nurglings fairly quickly. The other Nurglings are falling quite quickly as well. Alrighty, back here the plague toads have charged on in. We have our 2 snow leopards working on them to distract them, stopping them before we charge back in with the winged hussars. Quite curious to see how effective the plague toads are in SFO compared to vanilla, where they're not good. Only taken a while, it seems, to bring them down. What's their max HP at? 12,000 for 24 units? Not horrible. Alright, it looks like the plague toads are melting away. Most of the enemy units have been cleared. A few spells are dropped upon them as we have been fighting. Lots of Frost Maiden's kisses. And of course this Golden Knight is continuing to duel Epidemius, though it looks like Epidemius is nearly out of the picture now. And his melee defense is quite low, down to 22 because of Bone Crusher and something else. Well, sucks to be him. Alright, a couple more hits and the Lord and these plague bearers around him will melt away. The exalted plague bearers in the background still very much distracted by the summoned snow leopards. I'm not sure I've ever seen Epidemius' defeat trait. Well, let's see what it is. If it's any different from a regular plague-ridden. Honestly, I'm not sure. Now, I don't remember what the regular plague-ridden defeat trait looks like when it's on a paladin. Oh, he doesn't disappear? He just stays up there? Kugath disappears and his throne drops down. Epidemius looks sad, though. Anyway, there we go. Looks like the Nurglings have been cleared out on the main side of the battle. Epidemius is out, and now our company here moves in to deal with the exalted plague bearers, who do have armor-piercing damage on their melee attack. But there's just not enough of them to deal with Tzarina Katarin and the single entities. Besides, it looks like the morale shock has been pretty severe. Army losses in combination with the death of their lord means that the plague bearers begin to melt away. And I'm sure our war sleds will crest the hill shortly. and come on down to help here, though I'm not sure they'll be able to reach here in time. Not that they're needed, mind you. Look at all those exalted plague bearers melting away. Maybe a good thing that we distracted them rather than bothering to fight them, as they were the biggest threat on the field other than Epidemius, and the enemy really didn't get any value out of them, as we simply kept them distracted for the entire battle until we were ready to banish them. Completely on purpose, I'm sure. Alright, a couple more hits, and seeing those ice sleds arrive and the ice guard start firing, or war sleds arrive, the enemy will completely melt and the battle will be ours. Nice. Let's make sure that Epidemius regrets that random war declaration. And oh wow, the frostworm is certainly a big boy, but yeah, nice little fight. Not a lot to do, admittedly, for our melee and missile infantry, mostly due to the fact that, well, it's a Nurglite army and primarily composed of plague bearers, so just about as slow an army as the game is likely to have, and a very slow army full of infantry against a faction that is liable to slow them all down even further. Means that, well, they had a pretty bad time. 185,000 damage and 601 kills on Tzarina Katarin, 8.1k on the Golden Knight, who defeated Epidemius while Tzarina Katarin was killing off all his minions, and solid damage on our war sleds as well, hovering between 8 and 15k damage, which maxed out the damage compared to everybody else, so good job to the war sleds. Let's see, we'll take the money again. I love the devotion, but we can make better use of the money. Pardon captives, which again, weird, but yeah. Alright, and this, oh, free research, immunity to contact effects. That's actually very strong. That's very strong. Oh, I was expecting to be disappointed with this, with that, and I am not. I am very much not. All right. Well then, Tzarina Katarin, we are going to have you grab this shipwreck and then move back this way, I guess. I mean, we could also just move this way to Winterpire and wipe Throg out. The issue with this is there are a Legion of Chaos around. We'd still have to move this way. I'll think about it. Both are possibilities, but the shipwreck still has to be taken care of. Can't really do much about that. And that was... Okay, 1 second. What's with the interruptions today? Somebody's at my door. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. Let's continue what we were doing. Or I guess we're just ready to end the turn now, aren't we? We do also probably want to make our way down to destroy this army, as, man, we might have to go back a little bit with Tzarina Katarin. Might actually be a decent option in terms of wiping out the clan Ferric anyway, though that does put us closer to Archie as well. But we probably want to get his defeat trait, which is, as I recall, pretty good and universal for everybody, at least the SFO variant. Anyway, let's end the turn and let's continue. Damage building, that's for Dwarslav, so end turn. Let's see if we get attacked anywhere interesting. Trade gain musterer from Mother Estankia. Let's see if the ambush fails or not. Come on, Azazel. Let's see if he falls for the bait Mother Estankia's leaving out. And has he already moved? No, there he goes. Ah, damn. I take it the ambush was foiled, or perhaps he didn't want to go in on it. I guess we're about to find out. Yeah, ambush was foiled. Unfortunate. And hey, more recruitment reduction for Estankia. Alright, so here's the question. Would you be able to reach him? No, he's still... So he is so freaking annoying. Settlement raised for Dwarslav. Oh, wow, okay. Skaven. Actually, not the worst idea in the world, simply because it does let us, A moment. Can we do this? Is there any way that we can do this? Wait. Let's try this out. You're gonna go here. You can't reach Buck the lethal, but that might be okay. I don't see Grimgore back here. Ready for duty, that's all fine. Yarogni. Do this. Let's see where this guy runs. And how far. if he's close enough with YAROGNI, just barely. What about you? Are you close enough? Huh, yeah, they are. Okay, this guy's screwed. Move a teensy bit closer. I guess what I wanted to do was see if we could get Gotrek and Felix into YAROGNI's army, but it looks like it's not really possible. In the sense that we won't be able to reach him in time. Can you do any actions? Not ones that matter. Alright, well, YAROGNI, just summoned and already immediately very useful. We're fighting Buck the Lethal here. Away we go.
Such paltry mongrel dogs they send against us! We could kill them in our sleep!
Alright, kill them in your sleep seems appropriate for a YAROGNI who has at last arrived on the field. I was hoping to get him up and running earlier, but we had to also allow for some other lords to make their debuts as well, lest the community cannon lords take all the spaces, and new stuff has to be acquired as well. Anyway, YAROGNI, you are going to wait a little bit while our reinforcements arrive by the looks of it, but they'll be here reasonably soon, and especially since the army isn't going to attack us. I've noticed that occasionally the AI will, despite being the defender, still move to attack you when you have a smaller army like this, but sometimes it doesn't. And well, it also will attack you if you have artillery and they don't occasionally, but I do have to wonder in what situations it will do so, and in what situations it will not. Anyway, speaking of artillery, little Groms are on the field and will begin firing at the enemy. Specifically, the enemy has a unit of rattling guns and a unit of death globes, unless I'm mistaken, and both of those need to be destroyed. A single unit of death globes, if left unchecked, can be so devastating that, well, they could probably kill off our entire line with a few volleys. Let's make sure they don't do that. And the rattling guns are pretty darn threatening units as well, dishing out insane amounts of damage if, well, and just like really all Skaven weapons teams, if let do their own thing. And we're going to speed this up a little bit as the enemy is finally annoyed enough to start moving towards us. The little Groms have no choice but to keep firing on those weapon screws. But it does look like they, well, firing against the small target rats and the reasonably high troop counts is probably not the best use of the little Groms, especially when they miss. But what can you do? You gotta fire at something. YAROGNI, of course, is out front in front of the army and will move in and lead the charge into the enemy. Plague Monks. Just gotta stop them from charging the rest of our units. He can break their charge while the Watchmen in the Night and the rest of our units move in. There we go, and YAROGNI is very much used to this. Arrows and rattling gunfire being exchanged on both sides as the Watchmen in the Night have arrived and have started laying into the enemy with their twin blades. There we go, very nice. And the enemy center will probably collapse fairly quickly at this rate. The first of all, both of the units of Plague Monks have absolutely lost their HP. Looks like the enemy lord dares to ignore YAROGNI and moves towards some of our armored cossars back here, the Cold Steel Company in particular, and YAROGNI will move towards fighting the enemy lord as these Plague Monks are pretty much done. There's a little bit more fighting on the flanks. Most of the enemy range units are concentrated over on this side, so we're going to target them as best we can with our unarmored cossars, and over here we have a bunch of range and melee working together, though the enemy rattling guns and death globes are pretty much done. At the very least the death globes are, and we have to send the patriarchs to stop those rattling guns from firing. Can't have them continue doing their thing, as they've already gotten a few volleys off. YAROGNI moves towards the enemy warlord, who is once again leading Plague Monks here. I do love that animation. There we go, some wolf rats working together by the looks of it. I didn't even see them charge in, but I guess it does not really matter all that much. And there we go, YAROGNI has found the enemy lord, Buck the Lethal himself, in fact. And the two will be dueling for quite the while, I'd wager, while the Cold Steel Company holds off the Plague Months. And oh damn, the enemy lord is getting absolutely destroyed here and hasn't even really hurt YAROGNI at all. Kind of surprising considering YAROGNI is at level 1, but what do you expect from the legend? And away go the Cold Steel Company, and the Plague Monks have melted away, leaving only the two lords to duke it out while the rest of the battle is decided. Outside of the duel, the enemy lord loses and runs away, while the balance of power shifts to about 90% in our favor. The two units of Watchmen in the Night have done a particularly good job in this particular battle, charging forth with YAROGNI as they did. Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that they're very magic-focused and that we want them in our armored Kossar army, I'd probably put them with YAROGNI as well. But he can have the Acolytes of Ursun, who I believe are also twin-bladed units anyway, or twin-axe units. Which feels just as appropriate. Can't be wasting the dampen with that spell resistance reduction, as that should be in an army that's a little bit more reliant on dealing out a ton of range damage, which the Armored Kossar army will probably have in droves. Might add a second Ice Maiden there. But anyway, or Frost Maiden. Anyway, with that, it looks like the enemy army has shattered. They really could find no purchase in YAROGNI's armor, and they got pretty much destroyed. The only damage really dealt was to our Kislevite warriors, and, well, those were here to be sacrificed. Anyway, there was a little bit of damage on these armored Kossars with great weapons units, and I was actually quite impressed, kind of missed this, that they were dueling a unit of enemy Night Runners. And I guess the shurikens are armor-piercing, so it does make sense that they dished the damage out to these guys, and especially considering that these guys have no shield. Yet don't, by the looks of it, want the pistols facing off against the shurikens in range. You probably want to move the armored Kossars into melee instead. But anyway. There we go, and that is how I expect YAROGNI to make his debut. Level 1 and immediately useful, and immediately getting into a duel with the enemy lord, which YAROGNI won pretty handily. We gotta give him some items. We'll also take the money as a reward, most certainly. And Buck the Lethal's army is immediately destroyed. And a Sword of Bloodshed. Well, I know immediately who that's going to go on. I mean, I originally was gonna pop the Worm Spike and the Iron Ice armor on him, but there's no guarantee that we'll actually get the Iron Ice, or the, wait, not Iron Ice armor, Blizzard Brooch, no, Worm Harness, rather, and Worm Spike, but there's no guarantee that we'll actually get a Worm Spike, so for now, the Sword of Bloodshed will do. We should also give him a Talisman of Endurance. As for armor, Shield of Sacrifice probably not super useful, because I don't see him getting down to like 20% HP. I'm almost tempted to give him the Worm Harness anyway, because the Golden Knight doesn't really need it, admittedly, but, you know, we'll keep it for now. Don't have much in the way of armor, but ooh, we got those 2 Scrolls of Blasts now, which we can fuse into a Van Horstman's Speculum. Sure. You can have a Van Horstman, and let's see, what else here is not good? Enchanted Shield is okay. The spell shields are gonna go on our mages. Shield of Talos is miss resistance 10. It's kind of terrible. Let's take Shield of Talos and let's take Dragon Helm and fuse both of those into another Sword of Anti-Heroes. It's not bad. Sword of Anti-Heroes, by conferring magical attacks, are pretty much universally useful, so we'll certainly take that. You can use the Enchanted Shield for now, I guess, but we'll give you something better eventually. Alright, and immediately has a Kislevite Kossar on him. Pit Fighter, we don't have any spare valets, and yeah, we're a little bit low on items right now, and ancillaries as well, but that's okay. Well done. Gotrek and Felix, you're moving into this army as well. And Ulrika still has not popped up, but what can you do? What can you do? Are you able to go into March stance? By the looks of it, you are not. Damn, I wanted to put you into our own territory so that you could heal up, but oh well, not a big deal. You two stay together for now. We'll probably have you both assault Carrick Doom. Maybe we can actually destroy these guys before the...
Tzarina
Huh.
Katarin
Is it?
of
Wait, why does she have so little... What the heck happened to her movement? It should be full, but it's nowhere near full. And if it was full, I'd be willing to bet we'd be able to reach this army. What the heck, game? How dare you? This is tremendously rude. Oh well. Grab this real quick. Maybe if we auto-resolve the island, it'll damage us sufficiently that the... it won't damage us sufficiently. Never mind. I was hoping it would damage us enough for this army to actually attempt to attack us, but I don't really see that happening. Nomad Riding Master, there's that Ice Court sled, court sled, and a little bit of money as well. Certainly didn't give us our movement back. But oh well, what you can do is go into Frozen Landing, so that this army cannot land there. I suppose they could go for the Temple of Heimkel, but that's why we haven't invested in this territory as yet. Ataman, you... Contested province of the Ataman is moved, and you, Ataman, will not be able to be assigned until the province is fully under your control. Yeah, fair enough. We have a choice with this guy, though. 40 growth, always 40 growth. Give a Kislevian welcome. Alright, now let's see... Okay. So, if the Azazel thing didn't work again, but that's okay. You're gonna move right here, closer to Azazel. And we're gonna try it again. I know this does mean Mother Estanke isn't able to do what she wants, but that's not necessarily the worst thing, because we can keep recruiting with her. In fact, what we're going to do is recruit 4 Acolytes of Orson for YAROGNI, and we're going to start recruiting some Snow Leopards as well, in decently high numbers, let's say. And I wanted to transfer... Hopefully this doesn't screw it up. You for you. Alright, go back here. Alright, let's try it again with Azazel. Frickin' Azazel. Honestly, if he would just be willing to fight this one army, I'd be happy, but his army is relatively weak. We just can't catch it unless we stop it in some way. But as I was saying, we can get a bunch of Snow Leopards, and I kind of have to because you guys gave me like a dozen names for them, and I have nothing to do with them. So we're going to get this guy, Master of the Beasts, and we're going to have him command a bunch of Snow Leopards while the things in the woods go to Mother Estankia. Especially since we have money now, and we're being attacked from every bloody side, so we need as many armies as we can feasibly afford, or reasonably afford. 2 Arnheim, Steel Tech again. Another failure. Steel Tech is down to 1 turn again. If she fails again, she is becoming Beledna. Beledna is like Beledna the critical failure, not Beledna the defender. Beledna the critical failure is like the Lucius of of fantasy. If anybody fails too much, sort of, they become Beledna. Alright, so we'll see what happens there. Anyway, Ottomans, where did we send you? Let me see if I can remember this correctly. So we moved you here specifically to upgrade Carrick Vlag. Why must there be a Carrick Vlag and a Carrick Vrag? I think I confuse those two every single episode, but anyway. And the Marble Quarry there. We won't be able to upgrade you two as we don't have the growth and we no longer own the entire territory. But we will need additional upgrades back here in the Eastern Oblast, so we will move to the Eastern Oblast. You will not be reassigned there until Fort Dwarslav is ours again. We also need to watch out for the fact that Throg, I'm sure, is building up a new stack, so unless he's willing to peace out... you know what, he's all the way back here. I think we can wait 10 turns to attack him, deal with the Skaven, deal with the Orcs, deal with Azazel, probably deal with Throt, and then get back to Throggy. I'd rather not have to deal with him right now, as we're already dealing with it with plenty. Good. Granted, a few of our own friendly factions won't be happy about that, but yeah. And I think it's because our reliability recovered that we were able to do that at all. Otherwise, from what we've seen, our reliability would not have allowed it. Alright, and this is the last turn of our super replenishment and our super control. Damn, you would have been able to replenish to full if you could only move a teensy bit more. But oh well. We got another Ataman here, did we not? Yes, the construction time and recruitment. The recruitment would have been ideal here, but I don't really want to waste another turn with Mother Ostankya, so instead we will build up the defenses at Fort Dorjny Vort and hope that Grimgor doesn't arrive before then. We'll upgrade the town at the Great Skull Lakes and hope for the same. We will also get the merchant traders up to tier 2 here. Do we need the curtain walls? I mean, this place is okay, but I still think it wouldn't survive a full-on attack from Grimgor. On the other hand, we have armies in the vicinity now, and, okay, you know what, let's get the church up at Fort Dorjny Vort and at least get a patriarch for Yarogni's army. And we'd probably want to build another one here. I think we'll save the money for the breastworks, though, as in not get it right now. Karak Raziak. What was I going to build here? Probably another farmstead. We already have the church. We could also build the things in the woods building. Karakungor is relatively close, and we could start recruiting them from here for a little while. And then by the time Mother Ostankya comes back, we could have them on the field. I think that might be the better way to do it. I wish it wasn't so expensive, but we do want them. And I guess the Hag Heroes as well. Ooh, actually, speaking of the Hag Heroes, we just need Mother Ostankya to level up. If she does, that will allow us to build Hag Heroes anywhere, but it won't allow us to build this anywhere. 2,000 gold. Alright, fine, just do it. Do it for now. We'll most likely change up the way those locations work. As in the buildings and what we have built there. Atman, you're good now, you're good now. You, presumably, are no longer needed here. Nothing else to reduce. We also need to reduce nothing else. Well, Desolation of Drakenmoor. But, yeah, fine. I guess we'll move him there as well. Alright, so you are going to go down to the Desolation of Drakenmoor, which means you, Mr. Growth Guy, are going to go, I guess, here. How close is River Urskoy / Kislev to completion? Slanashi giggle. Get in there. Alright, you go there for now. Or we can make this place grow more. Both are fine. In fact, wait. Let me just see here. How's the growth here in Fort Chikova? We need it up to tier 4. Maybe the growth would be better spent here. So you go here to Southern Oblast. You go here to the Blasted Wastes. And that's everybody. We need more Ottomans. Especially ones that reduce construction costs. That would be real swell. Anyway, I do believe that ends another turn for us, so skip, and end the turn. And Azazel, please die this time. Please. Just die. You know you want to.
The frozen kingdom
You want us to declare war on Wintertooth, whom we just pieced out with? No. Alright, come on, Azazel. Move past Prague, or besiege Prague, or do something. I think he's towards the end of the... And, yes, so, discovered, and he stole a war sled. But, well, what can you do? We nonetheless can attack, and we should attack. In fact, we have to attack, because this army damn well needs to die. Go.
After all Kislev has endured, why would we ever quiver before these milksops?
Alright, here we go again. We've got the light war sleds on the field this time around. Let's see how they perform as compared to the heavies. They certainly feel, well, lighter, more maneuverable, and faster. They feel lighter, more maneuverable, and faster than the only 15 movement speed would seem like it would do, but that's all good. It's all good. Let's see how they do against those horsemen, but it does look like they're leading them towards our line in the same manner that the horse archers would do, and the marauder horses will melt away fairly quickly under the ministrations of the unarmored Khazars. Another unit of horsemen arrive and let loose their axes, while we send... Tried to send the Frostworm at them, but they immediately started running. That's alright, no need to send a unit of melee at them when the range units will pin-cushion them and rip them apart before they can do anything. We're going to send our light war sleds to deal with the enemy Seeker Chariots on the flanks, as the Seeker Chariots will not be particularly or really effective at all against the war sleds. The bleed and the serrated blade storm effect, the area damage effect that they have, will be completely wasted on the war sleds, who will slowly be able to grind them down, use their HP to hold them back, and then have the Streltsy gun down individual units of chariots. Actually, a fairly good use for the war sleds, if I do say so myself. They have a little bit of that chariot superiority going. Anyway, Azazel has moved in, and we drop that net on him from our Kshina ambushers, and he can do nothing, losing half of his HP to combined fire from every single one of our range units. Since he did not want to get distracted by our war sleds like he did before, we can prevent him from doing anything by stopping him. So damned if you do, damned if you don't, I suppose, Azazel, and down you go again. Alright, our center line is holding, with the Frostworm anchoring the line and holding back a ton of enemy units while our range continue to fire. And the war sleds have pretty much destroyed the enemy chariots, though another unit of enemy war sleds moves in, so we move one of our Frostworms to deal with them. What we don't want is our own war sleds firing on our, well, friendly war sleds, as in the seduced war sleds, as we want them back after the battle, rather than waiting to re-recruit them. Anyway, the main line still being held back, Frostworms doing an admirable job as they do, and the enemy not really bothering to try to run through them anymore. And by the looks of it, with the Azazel dropping and most of the enemy units destroyed, the enemy army will shatter. I was expecting to fight... This is a choke point battle, even though it's kind of hard to tell. This is a choke point, I think, and this is a choke point. Or something like that. Maybe not quite a choke point, but we made it into a choke. Oh, wait, there's the choke point. There's a choke point here and a choke point here. The enemy was deployed here and here, but we simply moved to the side of this, little Kislevite town, and used this wall to create another choke point, separating the enemy army in two, as these guys went toward us and got destroyed before Azazel's second force and got here. Great job to the light war sleds, though, for destroying those enemy chariots, as they could have been devastating if they had reached our line of fragile Kossars. Alright, there we go. Very nice, though. The light war sled should return to us, right? Better return to us. He doesn't just keep it. As that would be stupid. Was I saying? The battle went pretty darn well. The choke point really wasn't doing the enemy any favors. There. We'll take the money once again, because we need it, and I'm curious about that war sled. Please don't tell me he crossed the river. Damn. Can't quite tell what the heck happened here, but he better not have. And what is this? Oh, right. We got the next one of these things. I've been showing +10 devotion here from successful hero actions, casualty or punishment trait, own army faction-wide, and recovery for Snow Leopard and Elemental Bear. Still don't have a lot of those. Inspired Destiny would give us 25% research rate, but it's nothing crazy. Control +4 is reasonably significant. I do like the wins cost. Upkeep production on armies faction-wide is good as well. Ah, man, I'm still disinclined to let go of the growth. I think we'll do Hearthfire Network one last time, and thereafter we'll either go for Interrogators or... possibly... this has the Seduce Units budget thing. Go figure. Minus 15%. But 50 growth. We have a lot of new territories where we haven't built any roadhouses, and I kind of would prefer not to, because it does allow us to immediately build military, and, well, not military, tax structures, and we need the money more. There's construction time reduction as well. All of these are good choices, but once again, I think I'm going to go with Hearthfire Network one last time. Alright. Ally mobilizes. Oh, they're going to try to go for Fort Ostrowsk finally, after all that time. And good for them. Good for them indeed. Warbear for one of the patriarchs, and... Okay, good. We did get the sled back. Now, is this army... I mean, it does have a lord. I was about to say if it is still able to collect units. Or seduce units. I guess we'll find out. It is not. Perfect, meaning we can auto-resolve you. And like so, take a little bit of damage and take the 0 devotion. A bit unfortunate. We're in friendly territories, I think we will take the money. Please don't tell me that caused us to cross the water. No, it did not. Good. Hey, another Kvass... Or, wait, allegiance points. Do we have one of these? Or am I thinking of something else? Allegiance point gain plus 25% faction-wide. Seems fairly significant. In fact, what did we do to get that? Equipment gain... No, ancillaries gained. Oh, there's... Equipment gained and equipment gained. Why? Why? This should be ancillaries if it's just ancillaries. Ranked up in allied territory. Oh yeah, it wasn't this thing that I was thinking of. It was the Priest of Tal, devotion gained from fighting Chaos faction-wide, whereas this is allegiance points faction-wide. Let's give them both to the Golden Knight, just because it's just easier to keep track this way. And you're in march stance and you ran away. We might actually still be able to land right beside you and attack you. It would force us to land at the Tower of Torment, but it would mean your army is out of the picture. However, we'll have to figure all that out next time, folks, as we are most definitely out of time. I have absolutely no idea whether this episode will be too short or too long compared to what I usually do, because I had to pause it in the middle because somebody was at my door. So hopefully it's not a weird episode timing. Either way, and next time, we push towards Azazel finally, since that army has been knocked out. We push towards the Skaven out here with YAROGNI and Victor Zamvin together. Tzarina Katarin will go after probably Blisterkin and then loop back around to try to knock out the Ecstatic Legions and prep to move back north to destroy Wintertooth. Maybe a few stops at the Skaven territories as well. Anyway, stay tuned for more Ice Court. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially to Threshold. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.